What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Real Reds Talk, an authentic football fan channel made in Manchester. Welcome to the show, everyone. We've got a few bits to get through today, some exciting stories. Greenwood or Sancho, as personal terms, been agreed. There's some stuff on Brandweight, which I want to get into towards the end as well. Some comments from Gary Neville on the manager. Palistri to Flamengo, or Flamenco, however you pronounce it nowadays. How would you pronounce it?
Flamenco.
I don't know. Flamenco.
You like the dance?
Yeah, the flamenco. Yeah. I don't know why I'm doing that. Anyway, I'm also going to get Sam's thoughts on England as well, because I've said my piece about it, but I'm really interested to see what Sam's got to say about that. So, yeah. You mentioned you had 3 hours sleep, Sam, before the thing. You don't seem like it. I'm not just saying that thing. You don't look like you had 3 hours sleep, let's say.
Yeah, I'm used to, because my old job, as you well know, was I worked at a hospital on the night shift. So I can deal with tiredness quite well. Like, I'm not too bad with it. But internally, I'm screaming and just going, I want to go to bed. So, yeah. But content is needed. Work is needed. All that sort of stuff. So the show goes on. So as long as I'm not personally absolutely in bed dying, I will be here.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is about that, I think, at least, when you're tired... Yeah, you're tired and it's like you're knackered and you want to go to sleep and stuff. It's how ratty it makes. Like me personally, I've had 2-3 hours. I just
temper is like this.
It's so thick. Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna test your temper with some of these stories that we've got to get into. So yeah. So we'll go into the Greenwood and Sancho thing first. That's kind of the biggest kind of headline today. Although the Brandweight one could rival it in a sense. But this is coming from your favourite journalist, Samuel Luckhurst. Borussia Dortmund have held dialogue about both Jadon Sancho and Mason Greenwood. German and Italian clubs are keen on both players, which we kind of already knew already. But Mason Greenwood's probable departure from United is more advanced than Jadon Sancho. The club engaged with multiple clubs over both players. And then, of course, about an hour and a half ago, we had news come out that Mason Greenwood has agreed terms with Valencia. And we know that it seems to be his preference, because in Spain, he was kind of settled over there. Yep. So I'm guessing you put two and two together, he kind of wants to go back there. But first and foremost, before we get into any of that, the fact that we are generating interest is the main thing in it, Sam, because we don't usually do that in previous windows.
Yeah, we normally have players that teams want. Like that's normally, I think, quite common. However, the wages we put our players on then immediately puts those buying clubs going, well, we're not buying him because his wages are ridiculous and we're not going to pay it. And then the player's like, well, I'm not going somewhere else unless I get my money that I'm owed. And then you're just stuck with them at that point. Like, it's happened so many times. Phil Jones, Anthony Martial, like, they all should have gone way before they did. And we've ended up losing a lot of them for free. Paul Pogba's another one. Matic is another one. Like, you just go through the list. And so, yeah, it's good to see that we're getting the players and we're getting them sold. And yes, it had everything with Mason Greenwood that had happened, not happened. Either he would have been staying or we would have been getting a shit ton of money for him. But
yeah, probably close to 100 million, I would probably guess.
But we can't change that. So the facts are the facts. And then Sancho, Dortmund are playing a game that really fucking annoys me. It's just like, we really want him, but we haven't got the money. It's like, well, where's all the money where you sell players? Where's that going? You sold Dembele for 100 million. You sold Sancho to us for 75 million. You sold a bunch of different, where's all that? Where's that going? You cry poverty, and I'm like, are you though? Are you really? So, I don't like that game they're playing. So, if Juve want to come in for Sancho and pay some money, again, another cash-strapped club. How the fuck are they pay? How are Barca and Juve and people buying players? I don't get it. I really don't get it. But we can't. We're not allowed to. But that's another story. But it's
bizarre.
It's baffling. So maybe we need to get their accountants, their mafia accountants, whatever they got going on. You just sell off bits of the club piece by piece, and then you can buy players, even though you can't afford to register your manager like Barcelona.
I do think it's interesting how, I don't know, because you've had the coach recently leave, haven't you, Edin Terzic, who obviously brought Sancho back and was there, I think, initially when Sancho went there.
Yep.
Or at least after Tuchel, I think he may have come into the job. So I don't know how much that plays into it. Because I don't know who the new coach is at Dortmund, even if they've announced it yet. I haven't seen it personally.
Nuri Sahin, former player.
Oh, Sahin, of course it was. Yeah, seen it actually. I don't know why I think it. Yeah, former player Nuri Sahin, the midfielder, Turkish midfielder, I think he is. But yeah, I don't know about his coaching abilities. I don't know if he has a relationship with Jadon Sancho. I'm sure if he does, that'll probably play a pivotal part. But just in terms of like budget or sales, what's the max we should be getting for both, do you think, realistically? Because some people go off the chain and they'll say, we want 60 mil for Sancho. It's like...
Yeah, but you gotta be sort of realistic. Like, as much as we want to get a profit on players, like United don't do that. Like, what was Dan James is the last one, and then before that, I can't remember.
God knows.
And you gotta be look at his attitude. Did he play well at Dortmund on loan? He had one good game, as far as I could see, in the Champions League.
People on social media in the comments will tell you otherwise.
Because the people on Twitter are definitely well-knowleded pundits and breakdowns.
Yeah, they're all coaches with their A licenses and stuff, apparently.
So, and we don't know ball, but they do, apparently. So there you go. Anyways, so yeah, I don't know if he's increased his price tag at all. I don't. Maybe not.
He's not. He's definitely not deflated it, has he?
No,
I think that's.
He hasn't. He didn't shit the bed completely at Dortmund. No. Let's put it that way. Yeah. Like, so, yeah, I'd say 40 million is probably about right for Sancho with the price tag they put on him. I think if we can get a bit more, 45, closer to 50, fantastic. And then Greenwood is so complicated. It's so difficult to put a price tag on him. Like, it's so difficult because of the baggage that comes with him. That definitely knocks a lot of money off because you're gonna have to deal with that scrutiny and deal with that sort of potential backlash that comes with it. But he also had a fairly from what I've seen, I didn't really keep an eye on him, but he had fairly decent season at Getafe. So that might come into the thing, and then obviously his potential. We saw what he did for United. When he was at United, he was phenomenally good. So there's a potential there that you could get that player back, and then he could be your best player that you have. So
and if you get him for like 30, 40 max, because of that, it's going to look like a smart investment on their part.
So I know Valencia put a bit of 35. I would prefer closer to what Sancho's getting. I would say like 35, 40 million. I would like ideally for Greenwood.
Don't feel ideal though. Oh, for Greenwood, yeah, I agree. Yeah. The 40 for Sancho though, it's such a United thing, innit? You pay 75 mil, whatever it was. You sign him on these huge wages. He declines. You send him back out on loan, and then what we're probably gonna have to do again, from what we've seen anyway, at least with Juventus, is send him out on loan with an obligation to buy again. So then you're like, oh fucking hell, man! Like every team seems to lowball us as well.
Yeah.
Regardless of whoever it is, we never get a decent offer for any of our players. It feels like.
Remember Pereira? He went on loan like 4 times or something ridiculous. Yeah. So we're paying his wages for 4 years, and eventually we sold him. It's like, why? Why are we not just like selling this player? Why are we paying his wages for 4 years? It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. Bit of a side question just popped into my head now. Who do you think's a better talent?
Greenwood, but there's no telling how long was he out? 18 months? Was he out?
I think a year and a half. Yeah.
There's no telling what that's done to him. Because if you don't play for a year and a half and you're essentially, he wasn't training with the first. I know we saw pictures of him training in a park and stuff like that.
It's not the same though, is it?
Not the same. So,
not the same.
How much muscle mass has he lost? How much sort of fast twitch fibre has he lost? Is his quickness gone? Is his breath still there? His lung capacity? All that sort of stuff that you take for granted when you're a professional footballer because you're just on it all the time, just 24 hours a day, non-stop. So is that still there? Is his head right? Obviously, with all the scrutiny that went on and the court and the arrest and stuff, is that still in his head? So is he going to think something else is going to come up and stuff? There's all these different factors that you don't take into consideration. So it's like, on paper, you'd say Greenwood is the better player. But then all these factors you look at is that going to potentially take him down a peg or two? And then Sancho, again, the talent's there, but we know the application, the attitude isn't. So 9 times out of 10, I don't see him performing. I just don't. I think that's just who he's going to be. So I would say Greenwood's the better talent, but again, factors could be really crucial.
From the bits I've seen at Getafe, there was a couple of things that I remember from when he was at United that he was doing, cutting in some of the finishing that he had. dribbling as well. Some of the assists that he did. And he got about like 14, 15 goal involvements in 30 games. It's not a bad return. But like I'm saying, teams like Juventus who are in this kind of financial trouble, and a couple of other teams will be looking at that and they'll be like, if we can get him back to what he was at United, we've got an absolute kill of a forward there who's, you know, scores 30 odd goals a season for 30 million quid. That you know what Juventus are like that. They don't give a fuck Juventus. They'll go in for him. Although there has been a bit of an uproar from the fans from what I've seen. So I think it'll be interesting to see who goes where, because you've got Juventus linked. You've got Dortmund linked. You've got a couple of clubs in Spain. So
Valencia.
The interest is there, man. Just drive that fucking price up, innit? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. What you ideally want is a bidding war, don't you? You want a bunch of different teams coming in, going, "We'll go this, well, we'll offer this, and we'll offer it," and then you get the price that you want, ideally. But there's a lot of baggage that comes with it, and I know you said like a couple of fans worry about the uproar, but no offense to the Italians, but like when you see some of the players getting racially abused and that kind of stuff, I don't think their morality scale is like anywhere close to the sort of backlash you would get in the UK. But I could be wrong.
Yeah. Can you see a world maybe where we don't sell either?
I can see a world where they go on loan again, if that's what you mean.
Oh yeah, I think that's more likely, to be honest. I think that's what's going to happen.
Unless Ten Hag goes, I can't see either one of them being reintegrated into the squad. Especially Sancho.
Interesting.
Especially Sancho.
Because it's not always a given, is it? In the market.
No.
You know what I mean? So
like Sancho is just the stuff that happened in the fallout and the apologies that were all that, I just don't see a way back for him unless he publicly goes on TV and basically just goes, "I'm really sorry," and which I don't see him doing.
Which I don't see him doing, the odds on that. Okay, now
Greenwood is a possibility, because I know Ten Hag wanted him back originally when Richard Arnold was wearing that thing, so it's a possibility. But I just don't think Ineos want the negative press. They're already under massive scrutiny with what happened with Ten Hag and what the appointment and all that sort of stuff. I just don't think they want the press, and they're just rather out of sight, out of mind. Even if it's on loan, it's like, let's just kick that down the road for a bit, because we don't need that right now.
And also, we had James on Friday, didn't we, explaining like the way wages work, and that combined with the fact that it's a pure fee for Mason Greenwood, that almost like offers up the fee for Branthwaite like alone. So if
Sancho's wages as well, like what is he, $325 a week? So
yeah. I remember doing that thing where it was like, found like 2 months of Sancho's wages cost more than Matoma costs for Brighton. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. So, yeah, you mentioned Erik ten Hag there, and a lot of it, I mean, I spoke about him this afternoon in depth about his interview that he did with Dutch TV and stuff, and there was a couple of interesting quotes in there. But we've had former legend, he's still a current legend, absolutely, in Gary Neville, who's been speaking about on Sky Sports. And I'll read you the quotes, and I'll get your reaction to it. So, he says, I do believe that because Erik ten Hag had such a disappointing season in the Premier League, the club were well within their rights to see what was out there in the market. As we all know, the manager market has been quite difficult for a number of top clubs in Europe. I'm happy because they've continued and maintained that stability into next season. I think they've come to the right conclusion in the end, but I also think they were well within their rights to review the end of season and look at other options. Now, that last bit there, well within the rights, have we ever seen a situation like that where it's been played out publicly before? Because I can't remember, like,
at United,
where it's that. Just in general, like, have you any examples, or anyone in the chat as well? A bit quiet in the chat. Talk to me. Any example where it's that public and that open?
It was pretty open. You know, when Louis van Gaal got fired, we all knew it was Jose, didn't we? Like, that was quite sort of public. I think Panic were even putting videos out about like what Jose would offer before the cup final, because they knew what was going on. So I think that was pretty public. United are not exactly ones who are known for their what's the word? Tact, I think is the word. Okay. I just think also United have such scrutiny on them. Like, it's a ridiculous amount of scrutiny at Manchester United. Like, if you put Manchester, we've said this a million times, you put Manchester United in a headline, you're getting clicks and you're getting people to look at it.
More than any club on the planet.
It's just like, we've seen the amount of like absolute gutter bait journalism from things. Like, there was a story that somebody put out today. United are monitoring RB Salzburg player Umar. Like, so it's like, the fuck does monitoring mean?
Yeah.
Like, what, they wanted to see him? They scouted him? They've asked about his thing. What does monitoring mean?
Looking at his Facebook.
Yeah, it's bullshit. Like, it's a fucking bullshit headline. But you put Manchester, if you put Everton in that, nobody cares. You put Liverpool in that, not many people care. Put United in that, everyone's like, oh shit, United decided someone, click. It's just what it is. So the scrutiny of Manchester United is always bigger. So I think it's been blown out of proportion by the media, and they've made more of it than I think is being reacted to. I think Ineos were well within their rights to look around, especially when you take over a club. Like, you have to consider all options. You saw that they got rid of a bunch of people with the CEO, Richard Arnold, John Murtaugh, everybody went. They're offering people now redundancies. You don't want to work in the office. It's like, go. I don't agree with that, but that's what they're doing. And then I think they did the same with the manager, especially when the takeover happens. The manager is always at risk of losing his job. Like, we've seen it. Liverpool, it happened when they got the new people in. City, I'm sure it happened with Everton as well if they get new owners now. Like, there's a lot of stuff. So I just think the scrutiny is hyped up. Could have they handled it better and quicker? Maybe, but maybe they wanted to walk to the right decision rather than run to the wrong one, which I think is the right way to do it. But I think the scrutiny was too big. I know a lot of people disagree, but that's my personal opinion on it.
Yeah, it's a weird one for me because I'm putting myself in Ten Hag's shoes, and I'm kind of thinking, well, if they don't think I'm the right guy, that's why they're speaking to other managers, you know? Because if it was a foregone conclusion, or it was like, he's the right guy, you wouldn't have to speak to anybody else. So there's obviously doubt there in some form of whatever it is,
which
10,
I think
15, 20%.
I think after the season he's had, I think it's correct.
Warranted.
I think that's correct.
Yeah, but I'm skeptical about the relationship going forward. It's a little like, because even on Dutch TV last night, he was saying, it's not guaranteed, but his contract is a little bit difficult because you don't know what's going to happen with recruitment. They want to implement a playing style. And it's like, well, what's the point of having Ten Hag there? He's very stubborn and strong on his philosophy and the way he wants to go. But then Ineos coming in and saying, no, you have to play this style. So is he going to be okay with that? Is he going to be okay with just being given, rather than a list of players, saying like, 3 guys, midfield, this is who we're looking at, which one would you go for? Now, I don't mind that, but Ten Hag might, he might have an issue with it.
Well, again, I love Ten Hag, and I'm glad he's staying. I think it was the right decision for him to stay, and I think anybody else, I wouldn't be as excited about United if it was like Tuchel or De Zerbi or something like that. However, I think when you pay the money that Ineos have paid, which for the percentage of, 27% that they've got currently, they've paid way above the odds for that small slice of it. And I think when you pay that amount of money, I think you're a little bit entitled to sort of clean house and decide what you want to do, especially when you're running football operations. So I think while it sucked for Ten Hag, he was on the rope and just sort of like not knowing whether he's got a job or not and stuff like that. And then things might change as well. Like he's the manager and he deserves a certain amount of respect and deserves a certain amount of like absolute authority that shouldn't be undermined by the players. I think by the players, he should be the ultimate authority figure. But I think owning a club structure has changed so much now. Like we've seen it at Liverpool, like Klopp didn't want Salah. Like they offered it to him and he was like, nah, I don't fancy him. And he's got him. And now he's arguably been his best player in Klopp's tenure. Like there's an argument there for that. So I think as long as he's willing to work under the structure and he gets some sort of say, like he has input and he has his opinions are heard and he's allowed to sort of influence certain things, but not have overwhelming raging authority, which I think he has had in the last 2 seasons. And then we've seen that with his transfers, which hit and miss for the most part. I think, we need to, I hope he can work on that structure because I think he did do that under Ajax. So I'm hoping he's amenable. We know he's stubborn with his tactics. We know he's stubborn with certain things, but hopefully he can see that these people mean business and they know what they're doing. They've hired football people. Barada, Ashworth's coming in. Jason Wilcox, they've hired good people. This is not John Murtaugh. This is not Richard Arnold who couldn't fight away out a wet paper bag and he thinks, for fuck's sake, I'm going to have to do everything here because they don't know what they're doing. Hopefully he sees that and goes, okay, I can step back from that. They're going to handle that. I can just focus on coaching and then I can be like, I need this profile of player. I need this profile of player. Hopefully that's how it goes. But if he doesn't, he'll probably lose his job or he'll probably resign. That's what it comes down to, really, doesn't it?
I suppose the one positive going into next season, because there was so many question marks this season, is the fact that this is it now. You're under the spotlight. So almost regardless of what happens, I mean, God forbid that injury crisis happens again, which the likelihood of it probably not. I mean, I certainly hope not. Otherwise, we're in for another fucking dreadful season. But he's got a clear thing now where it's like you're going to be judged purely off results and how you play football, because there's no excuses above him now. Everything's being taken care of there, so we can just focus purely on coaching. So this season now is really the defining one, and if you get to the end of it and you finish fucking low down on the table again, you go out early in the Champions League, there's nowhere to hide effectively, is there? You can just say, look, done and dusted.
Every manager at United who's not finished the Champions League places has lost their job. So he's very lucky to keep his job. Like, I wanted him to keep his job because I think there was other factors going on, like you said, the injuries and different stuff. So I wanted to keep his job. So I don't think it was as simple as Jose, where he just absolutely decided to chuck everybody under the bus and set fire to the place. Although, again, I think Jose was let down by his recruitment again. Like, I thought he was let down. And players.
Like, some of the players at the club. Yeah. Really
so, again, stimulating. But, like, he lost his job. Ollie lost his job. Everybody lost their job if you can't finish in top four. So he's very lucky to have his job, even though I think he should have kept it anyway. So, yeah, he's got to step up now. And barring an injury crisis like we've had and players going on live TV, chucking every youth player and young player under the bus, I think, he has to show progression this season. So whether that's top four, whether that's winning the Europa League and getting back into Champions League that way, it has to, or a distinct style of play where you can look and go, I see what he's doing, I like it, and it's going to go somewhere. He has to, like, if not all three of them, he has to do 2 out of 3, because otherwise he's just not going to keep his job.
Interesting. Well, let's go to the third man almost in this kind of laid back podcast, if you will. To the people, the viewers who are watching right now, if you're one of them guys / women / people / whatever, whoever it is who's watching right now, get your thoughts in on a managerial situation. And get your thoughts in as well on the Greenwood and Sancho as well, and let us know your thoughts, and we'll read out some of them comments in a moment. Also, if you can leave a like on the video for us, that'd be absolutely amazing, and we'd appreciate that. We've had a couple of subs already since we've been live, so that's nice, and we're 13 off 5,550 as well. So yeah, please do hit that subscribe button if you're a new viewer and you're tuning in for the first time. You're like, what's going on here? It's welcome, hello. So yeah, did you see Tadic's quotes on today?
Yeah, I saw the comment. I can't remember off the top of my head what it was, but I did see it.
Yeah, so he is the best trainer I've ever had. He's busy with football 24/7. It's incredible to see. He's always busy with tactics. He wants to constantly develop himself and the team. You learn a lot from him. And this is a player, he's played on McLaren, Koeman, Poch at Southampton, I think, maybe, when he was there. So quite a strong compliment. And I think, again, it goes back to the coaching. I think he does have... I don't know how to explain this without sounding like an absolute idiot, because some of his tactics last year were so fucking confusing.
Yeah.
But I don't know why. I had this like inner belief that I believe he can pull it out of the bag, because we've seen it. The evidence is towards the end of the season.
He can do it. He can do it.
But then it begs the question: why has he not done it on a consistent basis? I really don't understand it. Don't get it.
It's bizarre, because the first season he was here, we saw when games weren't going to plan, and he'd make changes tactically and substitution wise, and he'd win games. He did it for week in, week out. Like, we saw it. We were praising his first season, like how good his tactical and substitution awareness was. Like, he was able to adapt and go, and switch things up. And then the second season, he was just like, right, this is the style of play I'm doing, and nothing's going to change that. I don't care if we're getting 30 shots a game. I don't care if we've lost half the players. I don't care if we're getting like out fought in midfield and they're just passing through our midfield. I don't give a shit what it is. I'm sticking to this, and this is what we're doing. And then all of a sudden, last 3 games where he changed it up?
Yeah.
So Newcastle, Arsenal, Brighton,
and then City. So 4.
Yeah, 4 games. And he was like, "Where's this bit?" Like, we all saying, "Where was this? Like, why is it taken to now in May to do this shit?" Like, it's crazy. And I just think he's capable of doing it. We've seen it at Ajax. Like, Ajax, I know it's not the same level as United, but they are a top European side. In a recognised league. They were in the Champions League, got to a Champions League semi-final, won Dutch Cup, Dutch leagues. He can win trophies and tactically outthink. Like, he tactically outdid Real Madrid. This is a guy who tactically outdid Pep Guardiola, the best coach in the world, and the best team in the world. He tactically outclassed them. So we know he's capable of it. The only thing that gets in his way is his own stubbornness and his own thing of like, no, I'm right, we're doing this, despite the fact that everything else around it's not working. That's the only thing that gets in his way. So that's ultimately what's going to hang him or save him, isn't it? Either he's going to be stubborn with it, and eventually something will click and the players will get it, which is apparently what happened at Ajax. Apparently for ages the players were fucking hating his drills, trading, they started playing. At some point it clicked and they all went, oh, this is what it is. And then they went on that run and just started like one of the most dominant teams. Look at what happened to Ajax since he's left. They were like near relegation zone for a long time. Do you know what I mean? So he knows what he's doing. It's just, I think he's been a bit naive in the Premier League with some of his tactics. I think he's tried to do stuff that he's done before. And the Premier League's a different beast. It's too physical. It's much quicker. You don't get the time on the ball. You don't get away with silly mistakes like that. Any one slight mistake, people like Everton will punish you. Bournemouth, Brentford, we all saw it. Smaller teams will punish you for it. So I think he needs to realise that and shore up and go a bit more pragmatic when he needs to. And then put his foot on the pedal when he can, like when he has opportunities and stuff like that. So hopefully he's seen what he did the last 4 games and realises I can adapt and I can change things when I need to. Because obviously you can't play that way when you play Luton or someone like that because it's just not going to work. But when you play City, Liverpool, Arsenal, that's a system that can work. Like you can do that. So hopefully he learns by that, but only he can do that. He's the one who's going to get in his own way or not. Like he has to decide.
That's the one thing I was going to say. The way we played towards the end of the season, I don't think that's sustainable going into next season. So then you have to make a decision. What you're going to do? Are you going to revert to type and try what you was doing last season? Because that obviously didn't work. Maybe it'll be a lot more effective if players stay fit. But then again, you can't really rely on that either. So I think you're going to have to be flexible. You're going to have to be able to pivot in certain games, depending on who you play. I'm going to be interested, like the first 5 games that we have in the league, to see what kind of start it is.
Fixtures out today or tomorrow?
I'm not sure actually. Is it that soon? I thought they came out in like July.
Let me Google.
Yeah, have a look at it. I always thought they came out July, and then you found out. I know the Euros ends like mid-July, doesn't it? Then we do pre-season until the end, and then obviously it kick-starts in August. And we've got we've got the Community Shield as well, haven't we?
Yeah.
Against City, which I completely forgot about, which will be before the start of the season. So we're back even earlier.
Next 18th. Is that today?
Oh, so tomorrow. Tomorrow. 18th. Yeah.
Yeah, tomorrow they get released.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
So be interested to see because obviously last season we had Wolves, Spurs, Arsenal, Brighton, Forest. I want to say.
Yeah.
I think something like that, which is quite a tricky start, and quite a few of them were away as well. So yeah, eager to see, and it's only around the corner. I know it's like midway through June now, but
July end of July will be on pre-season, and then mid-August Charity Shield, and then the week after that it'll be the legal start.
Yeah.
So.
It'll go quick. But in the meantime, I'm enjoying the Euros at the minute. Slovakia beating Belgium is mad.
There's been a goal. There's been no goalless games so far, which is mental.
No,
absolutely mental.
There was a stat about England. I don't know if you saw it. We had the least amount of shots in a game in the Euro since 1980. I think it was.
Jesus Christ.
Like in general, so Serbia had 6. I think England had 5, and that's the least amount in a tournament. I was just like,
fucking depressing, that, isn't it?
It is depressing. It is. Right, we'll move on to something less depressing, depending on your outlook on the player himself. So apparently Flamenco, again, if I pronounce it wrong, sorry, want to sign our player Facundo Pellistri. Now, Facundo Pellistri's been on loan at Getafe, got 2 goals and 1 assist in 15 games.
Granada, he's been at loan at.
Granada, sorry, yeah. I have got Granada in front of me there as well. So I'm saying Getafe because I was speaking about Greenwood before. 2 goals and 1 assist in 15 games. I mean, they're not the kind of stats, Sam, that are going to bring in fucking multi-millions of pounds, are they?
No. Do you know how many games did he start all those games as well?
I think quite a good chunk of him he started.
Yeah, I think Pellistri, I think we were calling for Pellistri to get game time for a while because we saw Anthony was underperforming for quite a long time, and Ahmad was on, is it Sunderland he was on loan at? So Ahmad wasn't an option at that point. So, oh no, this first part of the season it was, and Ahmad was injured. That was it. That was what.
Oh right, yeah, till November, wasn't it?
So he was out injured, so we didn't have the option, and we were saying Pellistri deserves time. And then he got that run, didn't he? He got, is it Bayern Munich? And then he got a couple of games after that. And I thought while he had moments and like there was things that I liked about him, his physicality was lacking. His end
Weak,
product kind of lacked as well. So I was like, I don't think this kid has it. I like him a lot. Obviously, Shireyas is going to be crying somewhere now if Pellistri leaves.
I think even Shireyas has probably given up on it, to be fair to him. Yeah, I think he's like, it's going to happen.
I think he might be one of those South American talents where they look really good in South America.
Yeah.
But maybe he's not suited for the Premier League. He seems to do well for Uruguay when he plays. Like, he seems to do decently well. So,
or international football. Again.
Yeah. So I wish all the luck to the kid. He seems like a nice lad. Seems like every time I see him on interviews, he comes across well and seems like he likes the club and stuff. So I wish him well. But yeah, I just don't think he's United or Premier League standard. Probably not going to get a lot for him, are we? Like, I doubt we get 10 million for him. I think it'd be like 5-6 million maybe in that mark. But you never know. But yeah, I wish him luck. But I think Ahmad is better than him. I think Garnacho on the right is better than him.
Yeah.
So
we want to sign a lease as well, apparently.
Want to sign a lease. Anthony's
getting nowhere near that team.
Anthony's probably going to get another season under Ten Hag, even though I don't think he should. So that's 4 wingers potentially in front of him. Not going to get game time, I don't think. So yeah, it's probably best to move on. Like Amari Forson was moved on. I think Ten Hag tried to get him to stay, I believe. And he thanked Ten Hag, didn't he, when he left? He was like, I want to thank Ten Hag and stuff like that. So obviously Ten Hag was a fan and wanted to stay, but he probably realised, I'm not going to get game time here. I need to go somewhere and do that. And Pellistri should probably do the same. That. No, I think it's good. Especially he's gone to another country as well. Like he's gone.
Yeah, Monza in Italy.
So it's like you've gone out there and like put yourself on things. So all credit to you, mate.
I'm sure a big name's just gone there as well. A manager. I can't remember who it was, but a well-known name. And he's seen someone will know it in the chat. I'm sure it was like an ex-player. So yeah, I wish him all the best, of course. Kamario Fork saying, "Who are we kidding? If we get 60 mil, that'd be great." I don't know if that's in relation to for both players or for one of them. I don't think we'll get anywhere near that for one. If you're about that,
not a chance.
Richard's in the chat. Hello, Richard, saying, "I honestly believe Ineos cannot complain about Erik ten Hag Dutch interview, and considering what he's been through over the past few weeks, I think he had. Yeah, it was nice to see him. Kind of dive deep into some of the stuff and be honest and open. I thought it was refreshing and nice. In fact, it was on Dutch TV where he could open up a little bit more. Because if it's the Premier League and you got Gary Neville sat there and Roy Keane sat there, I don't think he would be as open.
British press would spin that like fuck.
Exactly, yeah. So I think that's why he's been a bit more open. So it was nice to see that. And I thought some of his comments on Southgate were interesting as well. Off topic, but good to see United version of Lukaku turned up at the Euros. How that man is still a professional footballer is beyond me. My mate,
who said
Brian.
Brian.
My mate had a bet on, so he had a bet on for Lukaku to score and Mbappe. He had like 3 previous scorers on, and they all came in. And Lukaku, so he had one ruled out. I think one VAR turned over, and he missed like an open net, and he was just fucking absolutely livid.
Yeah.
Never bet on Lukaku. Never bet on. Do you remember the final against City? Like his touch. Yeah. Oh my god.
Watching him, is he playing with Timberlands on? Honest to God,
awful.
His touch is so bad, and he's gone for big figures everywhere he's gone as well. Chelsea, Inter. I think. Oh no, he's on loan to Roma, wasn't he?
Roma, he's at Roma there, loan.
Insane, but
crazy.
Yeah.
Evening all. Only just going to be listening 15 minutes behind, so I'll keep quiet. It says my damned United. Scroll down a little bit. Technically, we need to clear just over 29 mil for Sancho. Look at, provided we don't have to pay him up a top wage. If he wants his contract paying up, we need another 10 minimum. I think it's time for him to move on, but I wish him well. Hi lads, hope you're doing well. Prabhav in the chat. Yep, we're good. Sam's very tired, but apart from that, we're good. We're moving. All right, let's get on to the last story then. And you can see it on the news ticker at the moment. There's a bit of stuff going on with Branthwaite, Yoro, and Todibo. I think is another name that's been mentioned as well. Interesting bit of like publicly poison, if you want to call it that, Sam. With this kind of bidding, because they're saying they put that £35 million bidding, didn't they, with add-ons. Yeah. And then they're kind of weighing up their options to decide whether to go in or not. What would you do in this situation? Because if you can get him 50 million, I think he's definitely worth that. Yeah. I think he's obviously the number one target. But then how far do you go on it? Do you gamble on some of the other ones? Like Todibo seems to be cheaper, but he's not as much as a given as Branthwaite. So how do you manage that?
think you probably go in with like a 42 million plus add-ons, don't you? Probably where you go, because I think the last one was at 35 plus 8, I think, with if you totted up the
Something along
add-ons and
those,
stuff
yeah.
like that. So maybe you go in with something similar, give them an extra 5, 6, 7 million, and then put the add-ons again. And if they say no to that, walk away from it, because if they say no to that, and this is a club that needs money before June 30th, and we're on June 18th now, June 17th now, so the clock's ticking, and they've probably got I'd say two sellable assets, Branthwaite and Onana. That's your two sellable assets for Everton. I don't see Pickford leaving, and then I don't think anybody's going to come in for Dominic Calvert-Lewin
Not
because
a
he's just
chance.
injury prone. So the two sellable assets are Branthwaite and Onana. So I think 40 or 42 plus 8, I think is a good deal. Like, I think they would take that if they reject it outright, walk away, go for Yoro, go for Todibo, go for whoever else is on the list, and execute that. And then you never know, maybe Everton come back to the table towards the end of the window when they realise they need the money, and you can negotiate even further down. But yeah, United need to draw a line in the sand this summer and be willing to not overpay for players anymore. Just can't happen anymore.
Important to develop that reputation in Europe, innit? Now,
even if you miss out, on your number one target, which can happen even with the best clubs. Liverpool miss out on number one targets, missed out on Caicedo, on Lavia, Bellingham. Like, they've missed out on top targets. So have Arsenal. Like, it happens to teams. It's not the end of the world. If you've got a good scouting network and a good list of players, and you're like, right, it's number one, number two, number three, number four, number five. It doesn't matter. Just move on to your next target and just go again. This is the problem previously we'd have one person and we just start chucking money at them until they said yes. Or if they didn't say yes, we'd then panic, scramble around to find who's available right at the end of the window and just go, all right, we'll get him in, and we'll just throw a load of massive wages at him to get him in the door. Yeah. And that was kind of the strategy. So hopefully this time it's different. Like, hopefully, like you said, we go in for Branthwaite again. They reject it. We walk away. Go have a look at Yoro. Go have a look at Todibo, etc. And execute your second target. But yeah, I don't want to see
Real Madrid are a big kind of bump in the road, aren't they?
But like James said, if they don't come in, what does he do then?
Yeah, that one could go on for a bit. I feel like the next couple of weeks. Branthwaite seems more imminent in that sense. One of the targets who we were linked with as well, Mark Gay, of Palace is saying like they want 60, 65 million quid.
Get fucked.
It's like, well, that's quite a lot. But they appreciate that he's probably going to leave. I thought he played really well last night. Gay in the defensive backup line. Considering it's his first debut in the team.
Look natural.
Competitive debut in a tournament. Look good, man. Yeah. Him and Stones alongside each other, I thought really complemented each other well. We also had some other news coming in from Florian Plettenberg, who's obviously the German journalist, saying if Victor Lindelof leaves Manchester United, it could mean the club will sign 2 centre-backs. Negotiations to sign Jared Branthwaite are ongoing but difficult. Matthias de Ligt remains a target. United haven't given up hope on Lenny Yoro either, so the centre-back pool is getting bigger and bigger by the moment. The thing is, de Ligt, his wages are fucking astronomical, so I don't know how they sort that. I really, really don't. I would personally take a gamble on it. I know a lot of people say from his time at Ajax to Juventus and Bayern, he's fell off a little bit, but I always see the coaches get the best out of the players. Remember when Haller signed for Ajax and it was a couple of like eyebrows being raised and it ended up being that top scorer in the Champions League? I think Ten Hag could get the best out of de Ligt, to be honest. I really do. Tadic, another great example. Yeah. And ended up with like the most assists in Ajax history or something ridiculous. So yeah, de Ligt, if his wages, if he was willing to take a wage cut, I'd definitely look at that because he's still only 24. Yeah. I mean, the guy's playing next to Van Dijk. He's had the best centre-back education next to Van Dijk, Chiellini and Bonucci at Juventus.
Well, he captain of Ajax as well at like 20.
Captain at Ajax, yeah. So and one of the youngest players to play in like a semi-final as well, I think. So the pedigree's there. And I would gamble on it personally. But again, it's nice that we've got that many options because usually, like Maguire, for example, when we was going in for him, it was like pay more. We never pivoted to another centre-back. I can't remember being linked.
We never even pretended, like, even if we didn't, we didn't even pretend going, oh, well, we're going to go bid for this guy. Like, we're just like, just get all the money, just chuck it at him. Like, ridiculous. But I like de Ligt. I think he's a good player, but yeah, his wage demand has to come down.
Absolutely.
Cannot pay that wage. Like there's not a fucking chance we should pay that wage. And if we are thinking about that, then somebody's drunk at the wheel because that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, he's just saying Jose Mourinho's Fenerbahce interested in Victor Lindelof, and United will be open to a sale. But some of the things I've been linked with, like the prices, like €8 million. I'm like, get to fuck.
No.
Who can United buy with €8 million? That'd cover like a month's wages for one of our players or something. So
like that was like the Fred. You remember the Fred deal? It was like 10 mil, but then we only got like 6.5 or something because Fred got part of the transfer fee because of a thing in his contract in his last year. It's like this is ridiculous, man. Absolutely ridiculous. I think De Ligt, it sounds like a Ten Hag signing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Rather than an Ineos transfer board signing. He's Dutch.
I agree with that.
He played for Ajax. He played under Ten Hag. You know what I mean? So
I absolutely I would agree that I'm in the minority with that one. That a lot of people probably wouldn't want to sign him, and I get it. I get the wages. I get the fact he fell off a little bit. I don't know. I think he could go there. I think he'd be successful at United. And
40 million, and cut his wages in half. Yeah. I'm on it. But wages, no, absolutely not.
Yeah, that's obviously going to be a huge issue. Brian saying De Ligt, he's Dutch, played for Ajax, played under Ten Hag. Is it 2023? Yeah,
there you go.
Mantata United saying big up. Hello, Mantata. I hope you're good, mate. Someone's seen a story from Samuel Luckhurst. I don't know what that is. I haven't seen it myself personally, unless it's like an older story. But whatever it is, if it's Samuel Luckhurst, mate, I mean,
like my damn United wouldn't trust Luckhurst to walk my dog.
No, exactly. Can't see us going for Sonny D, to be honest, Richard. Feels like feels like a move. Feels like a move the old regime would jump at buying players. Bayern Madrid don't want big wages, injury issues. It's an avoid for me, mate. I understand that. I get it completely. But yeah, I think that's everything we've got. There was that player that we was linked with, Sam, you mentioned before. That was like monitoring. I had a little look at him.
I don't know who he is. I've no idea who he is.
So basically, we've been linked with a Salzburg centre-back, Umar Salet, his name is, expected to leave this summer. Salzburg will let him leave if they receive an offer between 10 and 13 million pound. I did a little bit of digging on because obviously I'd never heard of him. I was like, who the fuck is this kid? And sometimes when you sign in gems that you haven't heard of, we're a fan of it, aren't we? Let's be honest, especially if it's a good player. So a big French centre-back who plays, obviously, as a central defender, known for his physical presence, defensive solidity, and ball-playing capabilities. He's got a blend of technical skills and physical attributes which make him a well-rounded player with significant potential to become a key figure in defence for both club and country in the future. Known for being hard-working, very coachable, agile, good mobility, good pace, a lot of versatility, tactically aware, and he's good on the ball as well. That's like the scout report that I read about him. So take that for what you will. I never watched the guy play. No. So, yeah, that's as much education information you're going to get on him.
RB clubs as well normally don't pick up players that are shit. Like they're normally within the know. Like they go from Salzburg and then they go to Leipzig and then they normally take off and go somewhere else. So, like it's a path trodden by Haaland. It's a path trodden by Sesko. Like it's happened quite a lot. So I think if they've got hold of him, there must be something there. Again, haven't seen him play, don't know anything about him, so I couldn't comment further than that. But yeah, can I just touch on England before we go? Because I
forgot about that. Just before you do, let me just quickly read out the list about with Leipzig, because I got players up there. I was like, so Gvardiol, City bought him for like 90 mil. Szoboszlai from Leipzig, 70 mil. Nkunku, 60 mil. They've obviously had Werner, who was like a hot prospect there at the time.
Haaland.
Hwang Hee-chan, Haaland. Fuck, I mean, honestly, the list is fucking endless. So yeah, they produce Upamecano,
Lema, Conrad Lema,
Sabitzer. Like, yeah, absolutely ridiculous.
Talent factory, Leipzig.
They really, really are. Matheus Cunha as well played there, apparently. Never knew that. Sorry, finish us off, Sam, with your thoughts on England, if you can.
Yeah, I only listened to part of what you said, so if I tread over what you said, then
go for it.
Apologies, but there's a couple of things I noticed where I was like, for England, I thought Trent was awful in number 8. I thought terrible. I think he lost more passes than anybody in the midfield. I think Declan Rice made more successful passes, and he's supposed to be a DM. I think Bellingham and Foden can't play together. I just don't think they want to play together because I think he suffers on that left-hand side. And I think he was doubly hamstrung by the fact that Trippier is not a lateral left-sided fullback. He wasn't willing to overlap him. He kept wanting to come inside because obviously he wants to come onto his right foot. So I thought that was dysfunctional. And then the substitutions by Gareth Southgate were bizarre. Like, you 1-0, all right, you don't want to go and try and put the game to him and get another goal. You want to control it, and you bring on Conor Gallagher, who offers what? Not sure. The only threat that we had was down that right-hand side with Saka. I thought Saka had that full-back on toast for most of the game. He took him off and brought Jared Bowen on, even though the left-hand side was suffering. It's like, why don't you put him on the left-hand side? So, yeah, I think there's a lot of things wrong with that performance. I think Jude Bellingham was fantastic. Again, no surprise
bit
there.
Of bite as well. You know what I mean? Like,
I like
that. A bit of that. I fucking love that. I love it.
You touched on Gahey. I thought he was great as well. Really liked Marcus. Is it Marcus Gahey? Is that his name?
It's Mark
Gahey.
Just Gahey. Yeah.
Thought he was really good. Great save, and Jordan Pickford always shows up for England. Really. I thought it was
crazy, isn't it?
Save.
It's always fantastic for England. Pickford.
And then Harry Kane, absolute anonymous up until that last chance where he got the header and the keeper pulled off a fantastic save. I thought it was that. And Saka was really good. Really enjoyed Saka, but that left-hand side and Trent in the midfield is a massive problem. If we play that team again against who have we got next? Is it
Denmark?
Denmark. We're going to get destroyed. They'll destroy us.
You look
in
at
that
their midfield. Their midfield's much more complete,
I
would suggest, than Serbia's. I know they've got Milinkovic, Savic, and players like that, but in terms of the Premier League players as well, they know the team, like Højbjerg, Eriksson, and you've got Hjulmand in there as well.
You got Norgard on the bench as well, who plays for Brentford.
So they know him very well.
I think, it's a problem, man, and I hope, I don't see Southgate changing it either. I think he might pick the same team. Because the comments he was saying about Trent saying his thing, he was good, and I was just like,
no, I don't know what game he was
really
watching.
Tactically, like it's so typical of an England performance in it, where they start well, and then we just step further and further back as the game goes on, and just go deeper and deeper, and you're like, why? We are better than this team on every fucking imagination and like statistic.
Step on the neck,
player for player.
Players that you've got.
We're quicker, we're stronger, we've got better goal scoring ability. They took Mitrovic off, who's their like talisman. Like, we can beat this, and we just let them come back into the game. And then from 55 minutes on, it was just their game. We were just defending and just letting them think it was just ridiculous. So yeah, I'm worried, man. Like that, we got the win, which is I suppose the important thing of 3 points. But that performance, if we come up against a France or a Spain or a Portugal or a Germany, forget about it. Absolutely forget about it. It's hot there. It really annoyed me that.
It reminded me of Croatia 2018. So when Trippier scored,
and then we just sat off
again.
Italy in the final, we did the same thing. Shaw scores, and we just sit back and let them go back into the game. You're like, why? Yeah. Why?
Ten Hag said the same thing. He said Southgate gambles on it. Like he goes one up, and then he'll just go compact and gamble on a moment or something. It's like, I've always said international football, it's never the best team who wins it. Sometimes you need a bit of pragmatism. But when you've got the players that you've got, you've got so much fucking talent in that team.
You could
scorch him, mate, with them players. You really, really could. And it's sad to see, really, because Bellingham, Foden, that was one of the worst performances I've ever seen.
Terrible.
He was awful, man. Trent, I don't know what they're smoking. Some of the stats he had: 0 out of 3 crosses, 1 error almost leading to a goal. You can go through the full stats. He was just.
I think he was 36 passes out of 45, and so he failed, I think. And then Declan Rice had close to 50 passes in completion rate of 98%.
Yeah, Declan Rice is fantastic, by the way. I thought he was really, really good. Yeah. Trent just doesn't strike me as a midfielder. When you take it on the half turn,
he lost.
He looks very square on when he receives it.
He didn't know what to do. You get the ball, and he was no idea. And then you're like, all right, he's got set piece thing in him. Even his set pieces were shit. His free kicks were shit. I was just like, why is he on this pitch, man? Honestly.
At Liverpool, it's a little bit different now. I remember with Henderson, they had that kind of triangle with Henderson, Salah, and Trent that would rotate. Yeah. So Henderson would always fill in for Trent when he pushed forward, and then you had Salah that would kind of drift inside, and then Trent would put the balls into the box, or we could kind of work from that kind of half space. Yesterday, I don't know, just didn't work. I thought the Trent project did not work, and I was screaming for like a Manu, or not even because it's biased because he's a United player. I was just looking at it. I was like, I think they bring more balance.
Calm head. He's got a calm head. He's controlled. He's got good ball control, good ball retention. Play it. He's strong as well. Like he's not going to net off the ball or get the ball nicked from him. I just thought he was screaming out for somebody like Kobbie Mainoo to come on and just sort of dictate. Like if you're going to go and try and kill a game off like he was trying to do, I just think he's Trent's the worst choice. Like he's the worst choice to be in there, and I just think it hasn't worked. In him as well. That experiment hasn't worked at all. So
also, I thought because we know Harry Kane isn't the fittest. I think he had something wrong with his back.
Yeah.
Before with Bayern Munich because he missed a couple of games. He didn't look up to scratch last night. I thought even in the last 15 minutes, maybe you could have brought on Ivan Toney.
Yeah, or a Watkins or something.
Or a Watkins, just something different to switch it up. Because if you are inviting pressure on, Toney, you play it up to him, he's as capable as anyone that's holding the ball up. Or likewise with Watkins, if you want someone in behind, then you got someone there, you know what I mean?
Like, we know Kane drops really deep. Like, he drops super deep when he wants the ball. And then anytime a ball went in from, like, Saka or something, there was nobody there, like, meet this ball. But if you've got a Watkins or you've got, like, a Toney, they're making that run. Like, they're making their way into the 6-yard box and they'll get in the end of it. And then you saw the first time Kane did it, he got his head on it and he had to force a good save from the keeper. Like, it wasn't there most of the game. So I just think, yeah, you're right. I think last 15, 20 minutes, you probably could have took Kane off and brought on a Watkins, brought on a Toney, and I would have put Bowen on the left-hand side or Gordon, just somebody who's a winger on that left-hand side, because I just think Foden just wasn't up to it.
Jamie Goggan says Watkins is a pest. Just so's Gordon. You bring Gordon on with fresh legs.
He just harasses people.
Yeah, absolutely. I fully agree with that. I think one thing for sure, I was questioning why Southgate took like an injured Luke Shaw, but now I'm looking at that left side, like you mentioned, I'm like, Trippier, he got no overlap whatsoever, so the winger becomes isolated. I don't like right-footed left backs. No. It just, at a group stage, you might get away with it, but when we get the knockouts, you need Luke Shaw at left back, no doubt. You just got to hope need him on that left-hand side.
That we make it out of the group, and then when we do face a big team, that he's fit. Like, you just got to hope because.
Well, luckily we Denmark drew yesterday, didn't they? So we get 3 points. We're top of the leaderboard. It's a good start. It's a clean sheet. You win your first game, you take it and move on. But I think it needs to significantly improve in the next couple of games.
Like United, we need to see performances. Like, if you get a result, that's one thing, but we need to see performances because you need performances to beat the big teams. Because you don't see Spain worrying about the other team and sitting all the way back. They keep hold of the ball, they keep control, and then they just play the game out.
How good did Spain look, by the way?
Spain looked sick. Like, destroyed Croatia. Destroyed them.
I was very surprised. Like, very, very surprised with that.
Yeah. Spain, Germany. It's the old sort of hierarchy, innit? Germany, Spain, Italy, France.
Yeah.
That's it looks like it's going to be in the quarters and the semis, doesn't it? So.
Interesting times for England. Anyway, we shall leave it at that because France kick off in 6 minutes. So thank you to everyone who's in the chat. Make sure you smash that like button for us, please. Hit the subscribe button as well if you are new to the channel. And me and Sam will see you guys tomorrow. I'll be live at 12 with the afternoon show as always, people. So come and check that out. And we'll see you shortly. Also, sorry, was you going to mention the members video? I don't know if
so there's a members video coming. I probably won't be able to edit it today because obviously France kick off now. But I will edit it tomorrow and it will go out Wednesday, I think. So me and Nick are covering 2 youth prospects that we think could break into the first team this upcoming season. So please do check that out. It was really fun to do. And the edit's been good. So please do check that out.
Awesome. Yeah, check that out, guys. If you want to become a member, click the link in the description. If not, we'll see you in the next one. Take care. See you in a bit.